You would think that the best players won't cheat. This video will prove to you that you're mistaken. It is interesting when someone determined to win, they don't think about whether they're playing fair or cheating. Who cares about the rules as long as you win and it's in the bag, right? 10. The Whistle Mafia. In 2005, there was a scandal called the Whistle Mafia, and the two prominent Brazilian referees, Edilson Pereira de Carvalho and Paulo José Danilon, got caught up in this mess. They were handed big piles of cash by some outside investors. Well, these guys were using their whistles for some seriously shady business, influencing the outcomes of games left and right. We're talking about 11 top-flight matches, 4 second division matches, and even suspicions of meddling in a couple of Paulista Championship matches. It's a real mess. In the end, both of these whistleblowers got a lifetime ban from anything related to football. Talk about a fall from grace. 9. Pepes Fury. Back in 2009, while Pepe was playing for Real Madrid against the Getafe CF and La Liga, at that moment, Pepe had a real moment. Javier Casquero was making a run toward the goal, and Pepe, while he didn't hold back, he kicked Casquero multiple times and even stamped on him. It was a pretty horrific scene that sparked a full-blown scuffle on the pitch. As punishment, Pepe got slapped with a 10-game ban. Now, let's fast forward to the 2018 World Cup. Portugal was facing Morocco, and Medi Benita tapped Pepe on the back. You won't believe what happened next. Pepe went down like he'd been hit by a cannonball. It was one of those moments that had fans scratching their heads in disbelief. 8. The Good Friday match-fixing scandal. Back in 1915, it wasn't the kind you'd expect. However, it was the First Division and Manchester United was in a tight spot, battling relegation while Liverpool was comfortably safe. With World War I looming and about to be suspending the division, some of the players on both teams decided to spice things up a bit by placing bets on the outcome of the match. In the end, Manchester United won the game 2-0, but there were some eyebrow-raising moments. Liverpool seemed oddly disinterested, missed a penalty, and even took a few shots at their teammate. Well, the Football Association held an investigation. In the end, they banned 3 United players and 4 Liverpool players for life. 7. Teething problems. You know, as amazing as Luis Suarez is on the soccer field, there's this one glaring thing that just keeps coming back to haunt him. Biting. Yeah, you heard that right, biting. So let's rewind to 2010 when he was playing for Ajax. He decided to take a bite out of PSV Eindhoven's Ootman Bakal as well. That didn't go unnoticed. He got slapped with a fine and suspension. Fast forward to 2013, now with Liverpool, Suarez found himself in a scrap with Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic. And yep, you guessed it, he chomped down again. This time he got a 10-game ban. Ouch. Now, you'd think he might have learned his lesson, but nope. In the 2014 World Cup, Suarez bit Italy's Giorgio Chiellini, and the consequences were huge. He got hit with the biggest World Cup ban ever, 9 games. Here, karma speaks, right? 6. Rotten Rojas. Here's a wild story from back in 1989 known as El Maracanazo, whereas Brazil and Chile are squaring off in a crucial 1990 World Cup qualifying match. In the match, a bizarre incident unfolds. Chile's goalkeeper, Roberto Rojas, suddenly goes down, clutching his face as if he'd been hit by a flare from the rowdy crowd. The thing is, his teammates are so outraged that they refuse to continue playing. Now, the twist happened. Those crafty TV cameras caught the whole thing. Turns out, Rojas wasn't hit by anything. He'd used a razor blade to fake his injuries. Can you believe it? And guess what? This whole scheme was cooked up by the manager, Orlando Aravena, and the team doctor. In the end, Rojas got slapped with a lifetime ban from football, and Chile was banned from participating in the 1994 World Cup as punishment. 5. Hoeser's Howlers. This guy named Hoeser became a registered referee in Germany in 2001. He was one of the fast tracks, climbing the ranks in German football. But here's where the story takes a crazy turn. At the end of that season, it came out that Hoeser had some shady dealings. He was caught messing with a cup match between Hamburg and Paderborn, and Hamburg was up 2-0, and out of nowhere, Hoeser sent off their star striker and dished out a couple of penalties to the underdog. You won't believe it, but Paderborn ends up winning 4-2. At first, Hoeser plays innocent, but then he spills the beans. In actuality, he's got some sketchy connections with the Croatian Mafia. As a result, the German Football Association put its foot down and made sure referees would only be appointed 4 days before a match. Talk about a real game changer, right? 4. Tapegate. Back in 1993, the French football scene was all about Marseille. They were riding high and becoming the first French team to snatch the Champions League trophy. It seemed like they were on top of the world, but then, bam, everything unraveled. In a while, the whole deal between the president Bernard Tapie and the general manager Jean-Pierre Barnes was up. One of those Valenciennes players, Jacques Glassman, decided that he wasn't having any of it. Later on, he spilled the beans to the authority about the whole bribery scheme. And you know what he got for his honesty? The FIFA Fair Play Award in 1995. Now that's some real justice. And the left ones got a slap on their career. A twisty tale of corruption in football. 3. Amateur acupuncture. Carlos Bilardo is quite the character in the world of football. I mean, this guy has worn so many different hats, but what makes him stand out is his talent for bending the rules in the most unconventional ways. Back in the day when he was playing for clubs like San Lorenzo and Estudiantes, Bilardo had a trick up his sleeve. He'd ride needles in his socks of all places. During his matches, he'd manipulated a stab at his opponents, hoping to throw them off balance and make them mess up. Later on in 2017, Federico Allende took a page from Bilardo's book and started poking his opponents with sharp objects. And when he transitioned into management, he didn't leave his dastardly ways behind. Trust me guys, he is a true master of the dark arts in football. 2. Rivaldo Dive 2002. You know that feeling when you see players like Neymar or Ronaldo hit the deck after the slightest touch from an opponent? Brazil's Rivaldo pulled off one of the most infamous dives in football history. Toward the end of the game, Hakan Ünsal from Turkey kicked the ball and it brushed against Rivaldo's leg. But what happened next was pure drama. Rivaldo clutched his face and twisted. Then, the result, Ünsal, who was already on a yellow card, got sent off and Rivaldo was fined a cool $7,350 for his Oscar-worthy performance. Referee Kim Yong-gyu fell for it, but pretty much no one else did. It was one of those moments that left fans shaking their heads in disbelief, don't you think? 1. Diego Maradona's Hand of God. Here, we're talking about arguably the greatest player to ever grace the football pitch. And what's his most legendary moment? Well, it's a bit of a handball. So, it's the quarterfinal of the 1986 FIFA World Cup. Argentina is facing off against England, and the game is on fire. That's when Diego Maradona decides to use his superhuman abilities for good. Or, well, kind of. He goes on this insane solo run, dribbling past 5 players, and then with a bit of divine intervention, he taps the ball into the net with his hand. They called it the Hand of God goal, is what they called it. It's like the beautiful and the ugly sides of football's South American legend, all in one unforgettable moment that's still talked about to this day. Thanks for watching the entire video. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay updated. Goodbye.